Today, I'm gonna be giving you the new best settings to be using here in Black Ops 6 Season 5. I've been playing a lot of ranked, whether it's been Warzone ranked or multiplayer ranked. So the settings I'm gonna be giving you are perfect for whatever you're doing. Real quick, do yourselves a favor and click that thumbs up button for some nuke luck in your next game of BO6, and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss out on my future videos. With all that being said, man, let's get straight into the settings. Now we're gonna be starting off with my controller settings, but real quick, here's the controller your boy is using for reference. We got the PS5 DualSense Edge. I absolutely love this thing. We have paddles on the back right here, so every time I jump, I'm pressing this paddle, and then every time I'm sliding, I press this paddle. So you'll never see me press X or circle on the front of the controller, because I could just do it all back here while maintaining perfect aim and keeping my thumbs on the analog stick. Speaking of analog sticks, I do have a Control Freak on my aiming stick. It just helps me be a lot more precise. You guys can actually save some money using code FRIZZEYES, FRIZZEYES, while copying some Control Freaks. I've been working with these guys for a long time. Absolutely love them. Also on the back of the controller, levers here, and what they do is actually make my triggers a lot more digital tap. So this is as far as it goes, literally. So it's super responsive and quick. I really like that a lot about it. We got a little bit of grip on it. I know I got some stuff on it. What that is actually is this gamer grip. So if you guys have really sweaty hands like I do, I put like a dime size of this on before a gaming session, and it keeps them nice and dry. I cannot play without this stuff on my hands. Absolutely love it. You can get it on their website, get it off Amazon. It does last quite a while. Absolutely love that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it to say about my controller. My favorite PS5 controller, hands down, by far, the only PS5 controller I will ever use. If you're experiencing high latency or low FPS on Call of Duty, you need to check out LagoFast. They can help reduce high latency on PC and console. LagoFast can boost your FPS on PC and can also help you get easier lobbies. Thankfully, it's super easy to install. LagoFast even offers a geofence if you're interested in that. So if you're trying to level up faster, unlock camos, get high kill games, nukes, complete the hardest challenges in the game, go download LagoFast, take control of your game, and go use code FRIZZ at checkout and try out their free trial. Link will be at the top of the description. Now that you've seen my controller, these are the settings I'm rocking with for it. So button and stick layout are default. Why? Because I have those paddles on the back of the controller that I just showed you. For my horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity, this hasn't changed whatsoever, and I don't think it'll ever change for the rest of BO6's life cycle. 1.70 is just perfect. It's not too fast, it's not too slow. There's no such thing as the perfect sensitivity. It really does vary person to person, but if you don't know where to start, you don't know what sensitivity to work with, I highly recommend starting here and maybe adjusting it as you go on. For my swapping between triggers and bumpers, again, showed you the controller for a reason. I don't need to swap them because my triggers are incredibly responsive. Now, I also feel comfortable having my fingers on those triggers when I'm holding the controller. If you want them to be more responsive, you should probably swap to the bumpers because they are a little bit quicker, but if you feel more comfortable using the triggers, go ahead and do that. I think comfortability is incredibly important. Controller vibration, I highly recommend turning this off. I've never liked having vibration on. Even when I was like younger and I didn't know anything about controller settings, absolutely hated when my controller was shaking in the middle of a gunfight. I recommend turning this off. If you're used to it, give yourself like a week or two without this on. It'll feel a little bit weird, but I think you'll thank yourselves a little bit later and you'll be a lot more accurate when your controller isn't shaking. Trigger effect, this is super important to have off because at default, it'll be full haptics and it makes your triggers super slow. It is really bad. So this is a super important setting to make sure you have off. It'll make your triggers way quicker and a lot more responsive. For my dead zones, these have not changed in a while. Left stick and right stick are both 7, super standard. I can even move it to 0 if I really wanted to, but 7's just been working for me. Left stick max is 80. So essentially when I press up on my left analog stick, the second it hits that red line, I will be running at full speed. So it makes it really fast, which I like a lot. I can honestly knock this down to like a 70 or 75, but I'm really comfortable with the 80, so I'm just gonna keep it like that. Right stick max is 100, very standard. I mean, it's always been 100. Make sure your L2 and R2 dead zones are both 0. Anything over 0 will result into a delay, so you don't want any delays whatsoever. Make sure that is at 0. For our aiming controller settings, we have sensitivity multipliers. We'll get a little bit deeper into those when we get into the settings there. Make sure your target aim assist is on. For you controller players, it is absolutely broken. In Call of Duty nowadays. So make sure your aim assist is on so you can take full advantage of it. Going to the aiming advanced settings here, ADS sensitivity transition timing. So essentially what this does is transition your regular sensitivity looking left and right to your ADS sensitivity. And you want this to be instant. So the second you aim down sights, you want to have your ADS sensitivity multiplier. I don't know why this is an option because this is just common sense. Other options we here are fully after zoom. No. Gradually get it. No, you instantly want to have your ADS sensitivity when ADSing. So make sure that's instant. Aim response curve type, you want to have dynamic 1.0. There's so many people who don't play on dynamic 1.0. Listen, the pro players, the world champions of the world, the greatest Call of Duty players had a conversation to ban this setting because of how OP it makes aim assist. If that's the case, you should probably be using it because of how busted it is. And then here is my custom sensitivity per zoom. So my ADS sensitivity multiplier, low zoom, this includes red dots and iron sights. It's a 0.70. I absolutely adore having it super low. The default's a 1.0, but when you bring it down this low, the second aim assist kind of latches onto an enemy. It's not moving because of how low your ADS sensitivity multiplier is. It really does look like you're aimbotting. So unreal. I recommend knocking it down, maybe not to this extent if you're not fully comfortable doing it, but you can work your way to like a 0.70, 0.75, 8. You're gonna start looking crazy in those people's kill cams. And then all the other zooms, I have it at a 0.95 because those happen to be a lot more zoomed in. So you kind of want to drag those around a little bit more, and it feels pretty damn good. So those are my sensitivity multipliers. Going over to my movement settings, I don't really go over these too often, but these are so important, man, so you can take advantage of the omni movement because it really is kind of a skill gap, one of the only ones in the game. So I have tactical sprint assist on so I can run at maximum speed way faster. I highly recommend having this on. Sprint assist delay, why would you want to delay in your sprint? Doesn't make any sense, so make sure that's 0. I do like my sprint assist sideways and backwards on. It just helps you take advantage of the omni movement. Mantle assist, I'd have that off. Crouch assist is off. The corner slicing simulates a corner slice by slightly inclining your weapon in camera when a corner is nearby. I like it. It doesn't make the biggest difference ever, but it just adds a little bit more fluidity to the game, at least for me, so I kind of like it. Slide and dive behavior, I'm not afraid to admit that the slide only is not the best option. It's just what I prefer and like. I think hybrid is the best. If you can master dolphin diving and sliding and controlling which one you're doing at the right time, this is by far the best option. I'm not a big dolphin diving guy, I ain't gonna lie, and I also just mix up the controls and accidentally dolphin dive when I'm not trying to. It's a pain, so I just stick to slide only and I've been fine. But I think if you can master hybrid, you're gonna be in a fantastic spot. Automatic airborne mantles off. Sprint restores on, so after allows you to resume sprinting after various actions. So after you're sliding or dolphin diving, again, fluidity, that's what you want, that's what it adds. Slide maintains sprint, so continue fully sprinting after performing a slide. This has to be on. I'm always sliding around the map. Parachute automatic behavior is always, what is this? Opens automatically. You see, this got reset in season 5 because this is always off for me. So I open it on my own. It never automatically opens. So that allows me to get the closest to the ground in Warzone and just kind of get a head start in looting and finding a weapon. So again, this reset, this is why you check your settings after every single season. Mantle cancels reload. I have this off. I could still reload after mantling. Movement advanced settings. This is all like pretty normal. I have single tap run. I think this might be the only setting that was changed, but everything else is pretty much left alone. So that's it for the movement settings. Nothing too crazy. I think these are really important though. For the combat controller settings, I do have weapon mount activation off. I always find myself accidentally mounting things in like serious gunfights because I like press a little too hard on my right analog stick, and I just don't see a reason to be mounting in the game, so I like to have it off, make it a little bit more simple for myself. Armor plate behavior is apply all, so instead of having to hold triangle to apply all your plates, you hold it down for just a little bit and it'll apply all the plates you're missing. Got nice and quick, very convenient. And manual fire behavior is on press. I don't think that's a new setting. Yeah, I think we're okay there. And we can go to combat advanced settings. I do have tap to reload on, so I simply need to tap square to reload my weapon. When I'm playing Warzone, I do play on prioritize interact. Thankfully, the settings are separated, so when I go to Warzone, I don't have to swap this. It's already prioritized interact, so I can spam loot. Love that a lot. I think everything else here is left alone. I didn't touch anything. Sprint cancels reload, that's also off. Overlay advanced settings, yeah, left alone, nothing too crazy. There it is if you need it though. But that's gonna wrap up the controller settings. Very, very important, but that took a minute. Here we are in the graphic settings. These are gonna be very straightforward. Starting off, I am on a PS5 Pro, so I play on 1440p 120 hertz. So if you're on console, man, upgrade some of your equipment. Make sure you're able to play at this because it makes console look just like PC. My brightness is a 50. I thought I had this at a 55 at one point. I have no clue, but there it is if you need it. Quality, weapon and world motion blur. Make sure these are off. I mean, just take a look at the images and you can see for yourselves. Why would I want blur on my screen? Please explain that to me. You don't want that. So turn those off. Your game is just going to look significantly more smooth and nice. Depth of view, that's off as well. I have fidelity cast on. It's at 85 and it just adds a little bit more like kind of sharpening to the game. It looks nice. I like it a lot. On-demand texture streaming, I have it on optimize, large, and I do not have it limited. So it's kind of just unlimited, which is nice. Makes the game look nice. When we go to the view graphic settings, I do plan a 115 field of view. This is all personal preference. I don't think there's a best field of view. I just don't like 120. It's too zoomed out. Maybe that's the unk in me. I have no clue, but I've been playing on 115 for a long time. I love it. ADS field of view is unaffected. Essentially what this does is make your game look like you have less recoil than you really do. A little bit of a cheat code, kind of nice. My weapon field of view is wide. What this does is actually make my weapon appear smaller on the screen. I like this a lot because I can kind of see other things besides my big ass weapon in my face. I can see other things outside the map. I don't need my weapon huge in the middle of my screen. So it frees up space so I can see where enemies are at. First person camera movement, make sure this is at least 50%. It literally reduces camera shake, which is dope. Inverted flashbang is on. So instead of my screen going white, it goes black. It reduces the effects, less straining on the eyes. So super straightforward. Those are the graphic settings. Next, we have my audio settings. The audio in this game is honestly really hit or miss. So this is as good as it's gonna get. At this point, it's just gonna be on COD's end if you can't hear anything. Master game volume is 44. This is just for my headset specifically because anything over this is just gonna be way too loud. Gameplay music, it's an 8. I like the background music. It's just when I'm at the main menu. It's cool. It's nice, whatever. Dialogue is incredibly important. This is when there's a UAV in the sky or, there's things being called out. You hear the operators talking so you can find out where enemies are at. This is actually important. It's finding where enemies are at. Effects volume. This is like nades being thrown. Enemy footsteps. This is why it's cranked. You want to hear things like this. Things being called out in footsteps. Cinematic music. This needs to be 0. There's no reason to be hearing cinematic music during the game. Like it doesn't make sense. So just turn this off so you can actually pay attention to things that matter. Enhanced headphone mode. Just have this off. I mean, it's not really worth using in my opinion. My audio mix I've been using pretty much all year long is Sucker Punch. I'm telling you, at times I can hear audio incredibly well. There's other times I can. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, but is it my fault? Is it COD's fault? Beats me. I'm gonna blame it on COD because they can't get anything right nowadays. Mono audio, in my opinion, this is probably the most important setting in the audio settings. If you have this on, it's gonna merge your left and right channels, so you won't know what's coming from the left or right. If you have it off, it's gonna separate those channels so you can actually hear things coming out of left and right. Asymmetrical hearing compensation. I have this on. When you have this paired with the Sucker Punch, it makes for a great combination. Reduce the tinnitus sound. What this does is reduce the kind of flash and concussion ringing. That could be kind of annoying. You don't want to hear that. So yeah, why not reduce those sounds? I have it on. My hit marker is on default. And then these are my voice chat settings. Again, I get comm banned all the time. So do they matter? Probably not, but here they are, I guess, if you care. But that's cut off the audio settings. Again, very straightforward. And last but certainly not least, we have my interface settings. There is some incredibly important stuff in here, and probably the most important settings are in here. So lock it in, y'all. So for my gameplay tips, tutorials, tooltips, I want all that off. I don't want none of that on my screen. I'm gonna be honest. Skip kill cam, I have that off. I like to see the kill cams. If you want to see, if you're lagging or your latency and things like that, here it is right here. Turn the stuff on. It'll appear in the top left corner when you're in the game. Readability, subtitles, again, don't want this on. I don't want to see anything on my screen. Come over here though and go to your color customization. And this is going to add a lot more vibrance to the colors. It's going to make them a lot more bold, and that's really, really important. So come all the way down to color filter settings. Make sure you're on color filter 2. Make sure the target is on both, and then make sure world and interface color intensity are both cranked at 100. Again, it is going to make the colors on your screen a lot more vibrant and bold. So that's why my game looks colorful, is quite literally because of this. I could show you a before and after. It won't do you justice. You in person, you'll notice the differences immediately. For the gameplay HUD, this is so important, man. So my safe area, this is my HUD. this is why my mini map is kind of brought into the center of my screen a lot more. My kill streaks, the field upgrades, ammo, all that is just brought in a lot more. And I like it like this because the most important part of your screen is the center. That's where all the gunfights are taking place. That's where you're going to be aiming and locking out enemies, right? So having everything brought in a little bit more, so when I go see how close I am to kill streaks or go see where the enemies are at through my mini map, I can quickly look back at the center of my screen where all the action is taking place. So that's why it's all brought in. I do plan a square mini map. This is just common sense at this point, because if you just literally look at the images, you get so much more coverage out of the square mini map. Like, you have to be playing on square. You could just see so much more, and the mini map gives you the most information in the entire game. If you want, you can change your HUD. I just kept mine standard. I like this, the regular one. It's really, really nice. Speaking of, if you come down here, you can actually scale your mini map and make your mini map bigger. Mine's at a 120. I think the default's 100. This is great. I mean, again, when you have a UAV or a harp up, it literally shows you where the enemies are at. So you make your mini map even bigger, it's going to be in your face. You're going to have to look at your mini map, and you can get all the information you need. You can sit on a head glitch and wait for the enemy to peek you. So nice. So I have that on 120, and then the icon scale. So the actual icons themselves, the red dots, are a little bit bigger as well. I could crank this up just a little bit more. Why not have this a little bit bigger as well? But yeah, this is important to change, man. I didn't find this out until a few seasons ago. I highly recommend making that mini map just a tad bit bigger, man. You're gonna see a lot more out of that. It's nice. Next, I have the player names abbreviated, nothing too important. I have the compass off. I never use the compass to read it, so just turn that off. I don't really care for it. Crosshair. So as I was stating earlier with the safe area where everything's brought in a little bit more, the center of your screen, it's important. So let's make it even more important by turning that cross dot on, make it largest so that dot's a little bit bigger, and feel free to change the color if you want to like pink or whatever, blue or something, and it'll stand out even more. This is where the action takes place. This is where you're winning gunfights. This is like where you're getting those 30 gun streaks for nukes. So important. So make sure you have these exact settings locked down so you're focused in the middle of your screen right there. You can also kind of change the opacity of other information on the screen. It's just all 100. I want to see all that stuff. Let's see if we can go back to our HUD. Yeah, visuals, information, all. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, I'm trying to give you all my settings, even if I didn't change anything else. But there you have it, man. That's gonna wrap today's settings video. Let me know where your guys' settings are at. What are you guys rocking? What are you doing? If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, let me know down below. Again, I've been playing ranked play, whether it's multiplayer, Warzone pubs, multiplayer pubs. I use these settings and they work incredibly well. But that's gonna wrap today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. You guys all stay safe. Have a great day tomorrow. Doses.